In an age where pop stars are expected to follow carefully curated aesthetics and cater to algorithm-friendly sounds, Charli XCX emerges as the ultimate disruptor. Her Brat era doesn't just flip the script, it rips it to shreds, dances on the ashes, and dares you to look away. But what exactly is this era? Is it a masterstroke of controlled rebellion? A meticulously crafted act of subversion? Or is it the chaotic implosion of an artist who refuses to play by the rules anymore? As Charli invites her fans and critics alike into the raw, pixelated club punk, hyperpop whirlwind of Brat, one question lingers louder than the thudding bass lines. Is this pop perfection, or is it beautiful chaos? Charli XCX has never been an artist content with staying in one lane. From her early breakout with sugary hits like Boom Clap to her pivot into underground-inspired glitch pop on mixtapes like Pop 2, Charli has constantly oscillated between the mainstream and the experimental. This balancing act has not only cemented her cult following, but positioned her as an unlikely architect of modern pop. She isn't just reacting to the genre's evolution, she's shaping it. With Brat, she's not asking for permission anymore, she's demanding attention. The album itself, stylized in pixelated lime green text and flanked by a visual campaign that feels equal parts Tumblr core and nightclub flyer, is a mission statement, raw, unfiltered, and completely hers. The sound of Brat is equally unrelenting. Drawing from the sweaty hedonism of early 2000s UK club culture, the glitch-heavy aesthetics of hyperpop, and even some Eurodance chaos, it's a soundscape where polished pop melodies collide with industrial noise. Tracks like Von Dutch blast listeners with mechanical beats and nearly abrasive textures, while Club Classics throws us headfirst into a late-night euphoria. Yet buried under this sonic maximalism is a deep undercurrent of vulnerability. Charli isn't just making noise for noise's sake, she's tearing pages from her personal diary, rewriting them with neon ink and screaming them into a crowded rave. What makes Brat particularly fascinating isn't just its genre-defying sound, but its narrative honesty. In Sympathy is a Knife, she lays bare her insecurities in the wake of close friendships and industry comparisons, rumored to be about her dynamic with Lorde. So I is a devastating tribute to her late friend and collaborator Sophie, whose influence is all over the album. These aren't just tracks to dance to, they're confessions you absorb through movement, emotional truths processed on the dance floor. The dichotomy between sound and sentiment makes Brat both compelling and cathartic. But beyond the music itself, the Brat era has become something far bigger than Charli XCX's personal journey. It has become a movement. The term Brat has taken on a life of its own, morphing into a cultural aesthetic, a meme language, a fashion trend, and a digital rallying cry for a new generation of fans who crave authenticity over polish. TikTok has become a breeding ground for Brat-coded edits, while fashion-forward fans have embraced the pixelated green branding like a badge of honor. And it's not just confined to internet culture. Even mainstream publications, from the New York Times to Pitchfork, have engaged in serious discourse about what this era means for pop music as a whole. Part of the reason Brat resonates so deeply is because it captures the contradictions of its time. We live in a moment where everyone is hyper-aware of performance, on social media, in branding, in real life. Charli XCX, with this record, rejects the polish. She leans into the messiness. The album cover looks like something made on Microsoft Paint. The rollout included chaotic tweets, meme-like promo, and even antagonistic moments with fans. At times, it felt like she was daring people not to like her. But therein lies the genius. Charli isn't trying to be liked in a conventional way. She's building a space where liking her requires accepting the full, flawed, unvarnished picture. Commercially, Brat became her most successful release yet. It debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 in multiple countries. That kind of critical and commercial crossover is rare for an album so sonically abrasive and visually anti-mainstream. It proves that there's a growing appetite for pop music that pushes boundaries, rather than coddling listeners with formulaic familiarity. Critics praise the record as her magnum opus, a culmination of years spent refining a sound the industry once deemed too niche. Fans, on the other hand, reveled in the empowerment it offered. Finally, a pop star who wasn't pretending to have it all together. But with all the acclaim came inevitable backlash. Some detractors called Brat self-indulgent, too noisy, or even disingenuous in its attempts to appear anti-pop while courting mainstream success. The aesthetic was seen by some as overly curated in its uncurated look. Others questioned whether Charli's critique of the pop industry was biting the very hand that fed her. These criticisms are not entirely unfounded. It's true that the Brat campaign, chaotic as it seemed, was strategically rolled out with all the precision of a seasoned pop machine. And yes, Charli's brand of rebellion still thrives within the infrastructure of major label budgets and Grammy attention. But perhaps that's the most subversive thing about her. She's using the very machinery of pop to tear it down from the inside. There's also the question of longevity. Will Brat stand the test of time, or is it a snapshot of a very specific moment in pop culture? Will the Brat aesthetic feel passé in a few years, or will it become a defining hallmark of this era? What's undeniable is that the album has sparked discourse, not just about Charli, but about the nature of pop itself. Is pop music about perfection, or is it about truth? Can chaos be a legitimate form of expression? And what happens when an artist fully embraces her contradictions rather than hiding them? For Charli XCX, the Brat era seems to have unlocked a new level of creative freedom. It's not just a phase, it's a philosophy. She has spoken openly in interviews about how liberating it felt to create this album, how it allowed her to exercise long-held frustrations and embrace her instincts. That kind of catharsis translates. You can hear it in the unpolished vocal takes, feel it in the throbbing bass, and see it in the lo-fi visuals. She's not trying to be perfect. She's trying to be real. And yet, there is a strange sort of perfection in the chaos. Because in rejecting the rules, Charli XCX has written new ones. In exposing her flaws, she's revealed her brilliance. In screaming into the void, she's found an audience that screams back louder. Brat is not just an album. It's a statement, a rebellion, and a release all in one. It's a celebration of contradictions, of glamour and grit, of high art aesthetics and lowbrow humor. It is quite possibly the most important pop record of the decade so far. So, is Charli XCX's Brat era pop perfection or chaos? The answer is both. And maybe that's the point. In a world obsessed with binaries, mainstream versus underground, polished versus messy, pop versus art, Charli has reminded us that true innovation lives in the blur. Her Brat era is a vibrant, defiant, emotionally raw collage of sound, feeling, and cultural critique. It's loud, it's messy, it's vulnerable, it's brilliant, it's bratty, and it's unforgettable.